On July 27, 2025, a seemingly ordinary day was about to take a dark and unexpected turn. Little did the residents of Traverse City know, this date would forever be etched in their memories, not for a celebration or milestone, but for a tragedy that would shake the community to its core. A quiet Sunday in Traverse City, Michigan, a place known for its scenic beauty and close-knit community, where life typically moved at a relaxed pace. The city was enjoying the summer, with families out and about, tourists exploring the local attractions, and residents going about their weekend routines, was shattered by a sudden stabbing spree, an act of violence so unexpected that it sent shockwaves through the entire region. The tranquility that defined Traverse City was abruptly replaced by fear and uncertainty. At the Walmart Supercenter on US 31 South, a place where people went to buy groceries, household goods, and everyday essentials became the scene of a horrific crime. The store, usually bustling with activity, was transformed into a chaotic and terrifying environment. In minutes, 11 people were injured, their lives forever altered by the senseless act of violence. The injured ranged in age and background, each with their own stories and lives that were suddenly put in jeopardy. And a community known for its safety was left in shock. The sense of security that residents had always taken for granted was shattered, replaced by a deep sense of vulnerability and disbelief. How could something like this happen here? The attack happened just after 11 a.m., a time when many families were out shopping, running errands, and enjoying their weekend. The morning was still young, and no one could have predicted the horror that was about to unfold. When the store was packed with weekend shoppers, aisles were crowded, checkout lines were long, and the atmosphere was typical of a busy Sunday morning. Little did these shoppers know that their ordinary day would soon turn into a nightmare. The suspect, a 35-year-old man from a nearby town, whose name would soon be associated with infamy, was about to unleash a wave of terror upon unsuspecting shoppers. Began attacking people at random, with no apparent rhyme or reason. His actions were swift and brutal, leaving a trail of injured victims in his wake, turning a routine shopping trip into chaos. Panic erupted as shoppers scrambled to escape the danger, their screams echoing through the store. Victims were scattered throughout the store, their injuries ranging from minor cuts to life-threatening wounds. From produce to electronics, no area was spared from the violence. The mundane aisles of a typical supermarket became a landscape of fear and desperation, with no clear motive or target. The lack of a discernible reason for the attack only added to the confusion and horror. The randomness of the violence left everyone feeling vulnerable. It was a stark reminder that tragedy can strike anywhere at any time, and that no one is immune to the threat of senseless violence. Police and emergency crews responded swiftly, sirens wailing as they raced to the scene. The first responders were met with a scene of unimaginable chaos and devastation, evacuating the store, guiding terrified shoppers to safety while trying to maintain order amidst the chaos, and tending to the wounded, providing critical medical care to those who had been injured in the attack. Paramedics worked tirelessly to stabilize the victims and transport them to local hospitals. For Traverse City, this was a day that shattered their sense of security, a day that would forever be remembered as a turning point in the community's history, and forced the community to confront an unimaginable act. But even in the face of such darkness, the spirit of Traverse City would not be broken. But the story is not just about violence. It's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. It's about the response, the courage, and the path to healing. It's about how a community comes together in the aftermath of tragedy to support one another and rebuild their lives. The question remains, what could drive someone to commit such a heinous act? Why did this happen here, to our neighbors and friends, and how can we prevent such tragedies from happening again? The attack began without any discernible warning, catching everyone completely off guard. There were no prior indications, no visible signs of distress or agitation from the suspect that could have alerted anyone to the impending danger. It was a moment of sheer, unadulterated surprise that would forever alter the sense of safety within that community. Witnesses recount that the suspect entered the Walmart, seemingly blending seamlessly into the bustling crowd of shoppers. He appeared to be just another ordinary customer, browsing the aisles and going about his business, which made the subsequent events all the more shocking and unexpected. Nothing about his demeanor suggested the horror that was about to unfold. Then, without any provocation, he suddenly pulled out a knife. The weapon glinted ominously under the fluorescent lights of the store, a stark symbol of the violence that was about to erupt. He immediately began stabbing shoppers near the front of the store. The initial victims were caught completely unaware, with no time to react or defend themselves against the sudden onslaught. The randomness of the attacks added to the terror, as anyone could have been next. Panic erupted instantly. People screamed in terror, their voices echoing through the store as the realization of what was happening sunk in. They ran, desperately seeking escape from the unimaginable horror that had descended upon them. And abandoned carts, filled with groceries and everyday items, were left scattered throughout the aisles, a testament to the sudden disruption of ordinary life. Chaos spread rapidly through the aisles, transforming the familiar shopping environment into a scene of utter pandemonium. The sense of order and normalcy was shattered in an instant. The suspect moved quickly and erratically, making it difficult for anyone to predict his next move or to coordinate a response. He was attacking anyone in his path, with no clear pattern or target, seemingly driven by a senseless rage. This lack of discrimination amplified the fear and uncertainty. Shoppers desperately sought refuge, hiding behind shelves, hoping to remain unseen and unharmed. Some even sought shelter in coolers, braving the cold in their desperate attempt to escape the violence. Others fled to employee areas, the back rooms and offices of the store, clinging to any hope of safety they could find. Employees, despite their own fear, bravely implemented emergency protocols, guiding shoppers and doing their best to maintain order amidst the chaos. They were guiding people to exits and selflessly helping families escape the unfolding tragedy. The sheer unpredictability of the attack made it even more terrifying, as no one knew where the suspect would strike next or who would be the next victim. Parents instinctively shielded their children, desperately trying to protect them from the horror they were witnessing. Strangers helped each other, offering comfort and support in the face of unimaginable fear, demonstrating the resilience of the human spirit. And the minutes felt endless, stretching into an eternity as people waited for the nightmare to end. The psychological impact was profound. The trauma inflicted on those who witnessed the attack would leave lasting scars. This familiar place, once a symbol of everyday life, had become a scene of unspeakable terror, forever tainted by the events of that day. The memory of that morning will haunt many for years to come, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of normalcy. In those harrowing moments, survival and helping others became the only priorities as people rallied together to face the unimaginable. 911 calls flooded dispatch as the attack unfolded. Police from multiple agencies arrived within minutes, entering the chaotic scene to stop the threat. Officers found the suspect near the back of the store, still armed and refusing commands. Using a taser, they subdued and arrested him without further injury. Meanwhile, bystanders and employees acted heroically. Some distracted the attacker, others used the intercom to alert shoppers and guide them to safety. Emergency responders quickly set up a perimeter and began treating the injured. The coordinated response between law enforcement, store staff, and ordinary citizens was crucial. Their actions prevented further harm and ensured the wounded received immediate care. In the face of terror, the community's courage shone through. The threat was contained, but the impact would linger. 11 people suffered stab wounds, ranging from minor cuts to life-threatening injuries. Emergency medical teams set up triage in the parking lot, stabilizing victims before rushing them to Munson Medical Center. The hospital activated its emergency plan, with doctors and nurses working around the clock to treat the wounded. Social workers and mental health professionals supported victims and families, addressing both physical and emotional trauma. The professionalism and speed of first responders saved lives. Community members offered blood donations and support, rallying around those affected. The scars, both visible and invisible, will take time to heal. But the medical response was a beacon of hope amid the chaos. Traverse City's healthcare workers rose to the challenge. The true horror of the attack, the sheer, unadulterated terror that gripped the Walmart that day, is captured most vividly, most poignantly, in the raw, unfiltered words of those who lived it, those who were there, those who experienced the unimaginable. Sarah Jenkins, a mother simply shopping with her young son, an ordinary day turned upside down, described the primal instinct of grabbing him, holding him tight and running blindly, desperately for safety, any semblance of safety, as sheer, unadulterated panic swept through the store like a wildfire, consuming everything in its path. Mark Peterson, a Walmart employee, someone who came to work that day expecting a normal shift, recalled the chilling sight of the attacker's blank, emotionless stare, a gaze that sent shivers down his spine. He reacted instantly, his training kicking in, quickly and efficiently guiding terrified customers towards the emergency exits, ushering them to what he hoped was safety. A college student who happened to be near the checkout, waiting in line, simply trying to buy groceries, said, with a tremor in their voice, "You never, ever think it'll happen to you. It's something you see on the news, not something you live through." And then, with a shudder, the screams were absolutely unforgettable. They still echo in my mind. Many, desperate to find refuge, hid in coolers, behind towering displays, or squeezed between aisles, anywhere they could find to make themselves invisible. People were helping complete strangers, offering comfort, shielding loved ones, acting with a courage they didn't know they possessed. One woman tearfully recounted how a complete stranger selflessly helped her elderly, frail mother hide, protecting her from the chaos. She was choked with emotion as she described him, simply calling him a hero, an angel in disguise. These stories, these first-hand accounts, reveal not just the palpable fear, the overwhelming sense of dread, but also the extraordinary moments of bravery, the unexpected acts of compassion, the resilience of the human spirit. Strangers, mere acquaintances moments before, became allies, united in their shared struggle for survival. Parents, with unwavering resolve, shielded their children, becoming their protectors, their guardians against the unimaginable. And employees, setting aside their own safety, instinctively put the well-being of others first, guiding them, comforting them, and helping them escape. The terror was undeniably real, a tangible presence that permeated every corner of the store, but so too was the resilience, the unwavering determination to survive, to help others, to not be defeated. Witnesses, forever marked by this horrific event, will undoubtedly carry these memories, these images, these sounds, with them for the rest of their lives. Their accounts, their stories of survival, serve as a stark reminder of the profound human cost, the devastating impact of such senseless violence. And yet, they also highlight the extraordinary human strength, the unwavering courage, the indomitable spirit that can emerge even in the darkest of tragedies. The community's spirit, its sense of unity and shared purpose, was severely tested, pushed to its absolute limits, but ultimately, it was not broken. It emerged stronger, more resilient, more determined than ever before. In the face of unimaginable crisis, ordinary, everyday people rose to the occasion, displaying extraordinary bravery and becoming true heroes in the eyes of their community. Hours after the attack, law enforcement addressed the public. Sheriff Tom Bensley confirmed 11 injured, the suspect in custody, and praised the swift, coordinated response. "Our officers acted with courage and professionalism," he said, noting the suspect was subdued with a taser and no shots were fired. Police Chief Jeff O'Brien emphasized the community's resilience. "We will support one another and get through this together." Officials urged patience as the investigation continued and warned against spreading misinformation. "We are committed to finding out why this happened and ensuring justice is served," Bensley stated. The focus remained on the victims and the ongoing investigation. Law enforcement's calm, authoritative presence helped reassure a shaken city. Updates would follow as facts emerged. For now, the priority was healing and unity. The attack sent shockwaves through Traverse City, a community unaccustomed to such violence. Residents flooded social media with messages of support, using #TraverseCityStrong to show unity. Local businesses offered free meals to first responders and collected donations for victims' families. Mayor Jim Carruthers expressed sorrow and confidence in the city's strength. Vigils and prayer services brought hundreds together to mourn, reflect, and support one another. Faith leaders spoke of hope and healing, emphasizing compassion over fear. The tragedy sparked conversations about mental health and community safety. Residents asked how to prevent future violence and support those in crisis. The city's response was defined by solidarity, not fear. Traverse City began the long process of healing, together. With the suspect in custody, investigators from local, state, and federal agencies began piecing together what happened. Security footage, witness interviews, and searches of the suspect's home and devices aimed to uncover a motive. The question of why remained at the forefront. Victim advocates worked closely with those affected, offering guidance, financial help, and counseling resources. Increased police presence at public places reassured residents. Community meetings were planned to address safety concerns and listen to citizens. The investigation was thorough, but support for victims was just as vital. Justice and healing would go hand in hand. Traverse City was determined to move forward, stronger and more united. The July 27th attack left a deep scar, but also revealed the strength of Traverse City. In the face of tragedy, police, medical staff, and ordinary citizens showed courage and compassion. Healing will take time, but the community's spirit endures. It's vital to acknowledge the pain, but not let fear define the future. The true character of Traverse City is found in its unity and kindness. Vigils, fundraisers, and simple acts of care have brought people together. The city will honor the victims by living with compassion and resilience. Traverse City remains a place of beauty, warmth, and hope. Together, the community will heal, one day at a time. The sun will rise again over Grand Traverse Bay, and with it, hope for a stronger tomorrow.